Going to take a look at section, yes.
When you take, it's something that you do that when you lean over, you go, "Oh," and then you come back. So I don't know what's going on, but when you write, and you start to mumble out, because I watch a movie done, and then you mumble out. So I don't know if you lean over the mic or.
Oh yeah, there is something that happens in radio.
Okay.
But it doesn't happen very long.
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay, I'll be careful. If I knew where the microphone was, I'd be real careful, but I bet I'm putting my arm on it.
Oh yeah, that's probably
You
it.
don't know where that's at?
No, I don't know where it's at. Might be that little hole there. I don't know.
Oh, yes.
All right, and I don't think I paused, so all of that was in the recording. So, all right, I'm going to be careful. I'm going to try anyway. All right. We have lesson 3.5. This is called slope-intercept form. You know that many times you get the equation of a line, and it might look like 2x plus y is equal to 5. That is not slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. That is slope-intercept form. The number that is the coefficient of x is the slope. We talked about that in the previous lesson. The number that is the constant is the y-intercept. Now, y-intercept means the point where the line crosses the y-axis. It will be on the y-axis, so its x will be 0, and it is whatever that number is, 0, b, on the y-axis. We did not do a thing with that last time, but we are today. All right. If I wanted to get this equation in that form, what would I need to do? I would have to get the 2x to go to the other side, so I would subtract 2x, and I would get y is equal to negative 2x plus 5. And one of the first skills that I'm going to ask you to do, and it seems almost too easy, is tell me what the slope is. Negative 2. And what is the y-intercept? 5. And if I wanted it written as an ordered pair, it would be 0, 5 because it's on the y-axis. So its x has to be 5. So anytime you take the equation of a line and you put it in the form that it's solved for y, the slope is the coefficient of x, and the y-intercept is the constant. That information is going to be a new way that we're going to graph lines. All right, graphing. Little bit of review. We have had 2 methods, but we're going to end up with 3 methods. The 3 methods are, number 1, a general T-chart. And when I say general, I mean you draw a T-chart and you pick anything you want for X or for Y, you find its partner, and you plot the points. General T-chart. Yeah, and I'll spell general correctly. Number 2, the other way is using intercepts. Using intercepts, the way I do it, also involves a T-chart, but it's a very special T-chart. What do you have to include for it to give you the intercepts? Zeros. 0 for X and 0 for Y. So we've had 2 techniques, and they've been very closely related. Today we're going to learn a third method, which is going to be using slope intercept, which is y equals mx plus b. Somehow, and it is not going to be difficult, we're going to use m and b to write the equation of a line. Okay? So let's look at a couple of examples before we go to the math lab notes. Let's look at example 1. If you are given y equals 2/3 x plus 4, graph the line using slope intercept. Okay, so this is our new method that we have not used. All right, if I write down y equals 2/3 x plus 4, can you tell me the value of m? It's 2/3. Everybody know why? Because y equals mx plus b is the form. What is b? 4. Now, the letters m and b, I think I've talked about that personally, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why they chose letters m and b. M for slope, b for y-intercept. I don't know why they did it, but I've come up with a good reason. I made something up. Cool, yeah. All right. I'm going to start with b equals 4. And this is where you begin. B for begin on the y-axis. And we will use that. We'll actually graph in just a minute. What that says, B is for begin. You begin by putting a point on the y-intercept. M is 2/3. Does everybody remember that slope is rise over run? So the numerator is how you rise. Since it's positive, you'll always see me draw a little arrow like that, up. The run, which is 3, is also positive, so you'll see me draw an arrow like that. If a number is negative, then I draw the arrow in the opposite direction. Rise over run. This is how you move from the y-intercept. B is for where you begin. M is for how you move. Begin at B, move with M. And now, let me see if I can explain that a little further. I'm going to be at the same disadvantage you are. I'm going to draw a handmade grid. All right, I'm going to put about 7 tick marks in every direction. If I want to use this third technique, one that I've never used before, to graph this line, I begin by plotting B on the y-axis. Where will I plot B? At what number on the y-axis? 4. So I will go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have put a blue dot there. Now it's time for me to move. Slope, you move from this point. The moving instructions say rise of 2, run of 3. So from this blue point on the y-axis, I will, I will go up 1, 2, and I will go right 1, 2, 3, and I believe it's about there. I went up 2, and right 3. Then I would grab a straight edge from somewhere. You can't see me with my straight edge, but there's my line. I'm still getting 2 points, but one of the points is the y-intercept. The other one is created by following my moving instructions. By the way, if I wanted to, I could have gone up 2 more blocks and over 3 more blocks, and I would have fallen on the line again because the moving instructions stay consistent. You could go up 2 and right 3 over and over and find a bunch of points if you wanted to. So, little recap. If you get the equation of a line in slope-intercept form, begin with B by putting a point on the y-axis, look at your rise and run, and move with those instructions to find a second point. Let's practice again. Let's look at another example, and then we'll go to the notes. What if I ask you to graph y equals negative 2x plus 1? Whoops. Okay, that'll have to do. If I ask you to use the slope-intercept technique, then I have y equals mx plus b. Where will I begin? At b, which is 1. I will begin at 1. And where do I find this 1? On the y-axis. Very important that you remember it's a y-intercept. Then I'll move according to the slope. What are the slope instructions? It's negative 2, and I need a denominator over 1. Anytime you don't have a denominator, just put a 1 down there. Now, it's rise over run. The rise is negative 2, which means what? Go down 2. The run is positive 1, which means go right 1. So I will draw a grid. I'm just going to go 5 in each direction. Where will I begin on this grid? At 1 on the y-axis. That's the y-intercept. What do the moving instructions say? Down 1 block, 2 blocks, and over 1. Is everybody at the same point? You should have dropped that point at 1, negative 1. If you wanted to, you could continue that. You could say, oh, I think I'll go down 2 more and write 1 more. Would you get another point on the same line? Yes. And let me just show you something. Do you believe that negative 2 over 1 is equal to 2 over negative 1? Are those equal to the same value?
Yes.
Yes, they're both equal to negative 2. But if my instructions were written this way, what would it mean? It would mean up 2, and it would mean left 1. Okay, so from this point, the y-intercept, if I went up 2 and left 1, would I still be on the line? Yes. So you can reverse those signs and get the same line. Yes, most probably, or it might even be in the same quadrant, but you'd be going up the line instead of down the line, and it doesn't matter. Is that okay? Slope-intercept, I hope you will find to be a super quick, great way to graph a line.
Are we going to have the
the blue chart. I'm not sure what you mean. You're not going to have those instructions written on your blue sheet. No. Okay, let's go to the questions. And for those of you in class, I'm going to enlarge this. Okay, these are the questions from 3.5, so if you printed the class notes, this is where you would follow along. It says, write an equation of the line with the given slope, m, and y-intercept of 0b. So it may be a little bit small for you to read from the back of the room, but it says, let me switch over to black. It says m is equal to 3, b is equal to 5. And it wants, not a graph this time, but the equation of the line. What I think you should do is, at least in your mind, think about the form y equals mx plus b. And then write down y equals, you tell me, what times x? 3x plus 5. Problem done. That's it. If I give you a number to put in for m, which is right here, and I give you a number to put in for b, which is right here, you simply put them in their places. And I'm not asking you to do anything else. If I give you the slope and the y-intercept of a line, can you write the equation? And I hope the answer is yes. Let's look at number 2. Write the equation of the line with the given slope m and y-intercept of 0b. I'm telling you that m is the fraction 5/8 and b is 0. You think y equals mx plus b and write down y equals what? 5/8 x plus 0. Would you actually leave that as a final form? I'm hoping that you really wouldn't, and I don't think MathLab would even like it. Do you need to write down this plus 0? No. So your best final answer would be y equals 5/8 x, and stop. There's no reason to put plus 0. And here in class, would you do problem number 3, and then we'll do it together. Okay, I am giving you the value of m and b. I know y equals mx plus b, so the equation is y equals -1/4 x plus 7/10. Nothing to simplify, done. It will be a little tedious typing this into my MathLab because you're going to have to use the fraction tool.
Can I write down just the question?
Sure. Okay. When you get to number 4 in my MathLab, it now is switching over to graphing. It says, use the slope-intercept form to graph the equation. You're going to want to be aware of instructions for which of the 3 techniques am I supposed to use. When you take a test over this, the test will specify which technique to use. All right, slope-intercept. If it says slope-intercept, then you need to do begin at B, move with M. Where will I begin? At 1 on the y-axis. How will I move?
Up to
Good.
7.
Good. The slope is 2/7. They're both positive, so the rise means go up 2, the run means go right 7. So I'm going to switch over to blue ink and try to, let me see if, no I can't. All right, I'm going to begin at 1. When I leave something too long, okay, quit that. Okay. Why is it doing that? Okay. Alrighty, please quit. I am just having fun with this. All right, we will try one more time. I'm going to hit that point real fast because if I linger, it does something else. Done? Okay, I begin at 1 on the y-axis. How do I move? Up 2, right 7. So up 2 is 1, 2, right 7. Should be here. Nope, I did it. I stayed too long. Oop. Okay. Now, when you do this in MATLAB, you're going to have to use the line tool. You will click on the y-intercept. That'll anchor the line, and then you just visually go up to right 7 and click again to anchor it at the second point. And there's your line. Begin at the b value, move according to the slope. Is everybody okay? Any questions about graphing? All right, let's graph the next one. The instructions say use the slope-intercept form to graph this equation. So you would hopefully be very aware that it said to use the slope-intercept form. And we have 5x plus y is equal to 3. And that is not slope-intercept form right now. What do we have to solve it for? Y. So what will you do? Subtract 5x, subtract 5x, and y is equal to negative 5x plus 3. If you're using slope-intercept, where do you begin? 3 on the y-axis. And how do you move? Well, the slope is negative 5. I need a numerator and a denominator. Put it over 1. What does that mean you do for the rise? Down 5, and for the run, right 1. And I always draw those little arrows. A lot of people wouldn't, but I think it's somewhat useful. All right, if I want to graph that now, see if I can manage. I want to begin at 3. Then from 3, I want to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and write 1. Okay. Down 5, right 1. I should get a point right there. And if you're doing it in MATLAB, when you anchor the second point, it will draw the line for you. So you'll click on the y-intercept, then you'll physically move your cursor according to the instructions that you have for moving. And once again, we're using the line tool. All right, number 6. It says use slope-intercept form to graph the equation. This looks like it might be ready, but it actually has an issue. It says x is equal to 4/5 y. Is that in slope-intercept form? No. 4/5. Do y'all agree that's the coefficient of y? You can do a lot of different things. Some of you from your background know that you could multiply both sides by the reciprocal, and that would work. That's probably the quickest way. Another thing that matches what I've said in class is there a fraction in this problem? What's the common denominator? 5. So you could multiply 5 times the left side and 5 times the right side. This does put an extra step into the problem, but it fits with what we've been doing. On the left side, you get 5x. What happens to the 5s on the right side? They cancel out, and you get 4y. Now, the only coefficient of y is a 4. Divide by 4, divide by 4. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I just don't like the y on the right-hand side, so I'm turning the whole thing around. Y is equal to 5/4 x. If you had multiplied by the reciprocal instead, you would have gotten the answer in one step instead of two. All right, I am going to scoot over and get a little writing room over here. Where will I begin?
0.
At 0. Did you see a 0 written in this equation?
No, I imagine.
Okay. He imagined a plus 0, and that's excellent. All right. How will I move? I have the slope of 5/4. And if you could see any of that, it's up 5 and right 4. Okay, so if I plot those, I begin at 0, and I move up 5 and right 4 and get a point. It goes through the origin. And there's my line. All right, the last couple of questions at first look like, oh my goodness, what's going on with these? But they are not going to be difficult at all. Everything we've done so far in writing the equation of a line, I gave you the slope and I gave you the y-intercept, but that's not what I'm giving you on these two. Number 7, find an equation of a vertical line, okay, of a vertical line through the point 1, 5. Okay, I'm going to ask you to recall some things. Vertical line. Tell me everything you know about a vertical line. All right, the slope is undefined. Okay, the slope is undefined. Well, that's not really what I need. So let's think of something else. Pardon? It's up and down. Okay, so we've got a vertical line. It is of the form, and this is what I need. The form is x equals. And that actually, I believe, is on your blue sheet. It doesn't say it exactly like that, but it does say vertical line x equals a number. All right, x equals a number. Every point on the vertical line has the same x. Well, look at the point that's given. What is its x? 1. All you have to do is copy it down. X equals 1. Our line is vertical. That was given to us. We have to know or look on the blue sheet that the form of a vertical line is x equals a number, and then we take the number from the ordered pair. All right, so I'm going to make a little note. Get the x from the point. That's where you get the x that you plug in. All right, let's look at the last one. It says, find an equation, okay, I'm ready for an equation, parallel to Okay, parallel to y equals -6. All right. Tell me what you know about y equals -6. What kind of line is that? It is horizontal. It is a horizontal line. Now, any line that is parallel to a horizontal line is going to be what kind of line? A horizontal line. All parallel lines are also horizontal. All parallel lines are also horizontal. What form do all horizontal lines have? Y equals. So what I'm writing down is my thought process. They told me that my line is parallel to y equals -6. I know that's horizontal. I know that all lines parallel to a horizontal have to also be horizontal. Y equals. What am I going to go grab to be the y value? The -4. So you will get the y from the point. This is my answer. Is that okay? That's all the questions from 3.5. Slope and intercept. And then we're going to start 3.6.